Hi there, Tai the Taste Queen. Welcome back to my channel. If you're a subscriber, thank you so much. If you stumbled upon this video, congratulations, because you're in the presence of beauty. For today's video, I will be talking about tips for TOEFL, IELTS and TOEIC. Mostly TOEFL and IELTS, or even just English speaking. I've had a student come to me this week and ask me how he can improve his listening and reading. And I asked him for TOEFL or IELTS, but then I realized it doesn't really matter. Listening, speaking, reading, writing, they're all the same thing, right? And when you study for these tests, you need to improve your English. You need to study hard, improve your English, so you're able to do these tests well and once. Basically, teaching a test is good because then you can answer the test, but teaching English is a tool. It's that age-old trope saying, give a man a fish and you feed him for a day, teach a man how to fish and you feed him for life. By teaching you English and by focusing on English skills and tips, hopefully in this video I will tell you something that is valuable for you or that you can use, you will be able to not only do the test well, but also take that further into your life, into your future, and do any kind of test that you need to do and do it well, right? So for today, I'm going to talk about different tips and things that I suggest you do preparing for the test, preparing for English, just improving your English. So basically, advanced English tips, or just English tips. First thing, most importantly, notes. Take notes. So how do you take notes and why do you need to take notes? Because when you're listening, reading, writing, whatever you need to do for these tests, you need to be able to remember, retain information, and give feedback either through questions, through summaries, or through speech. You need to take notes. I feel taking notes is a valuable skill, not just for these tests, but when you do go to college, university in another country in the future, classes are going to be in English and you're going to have to remember what the professor or the lecturer says, and you're going to need to take notes. So taking notes, practice that skill right now. Teach yourself shorthand, your own form of shorthand, and the easiest way that is for you to take notes so you can write fast, but also if you're reading, so you can still read and focus on the content. If you're writing, so that you can still focus on the main idea, the main points, the details. And when you're listening, so you can focus on the details and get an overall picture. Don't take notes of the overall picture. Don't write, just take notes of details, and then the gist, you will see, it's like a miracle. The gist, the content, the overall message will be in your head. That is the beauty of learning. The more you learn, the better you get. The more you study, the better you get. The more you practice, the better you get. The more times you fail, the more times you will succeed. Like Beyonce says, if you don't seek it, you won't see it. So you need to seek it. I would suggest listen to something online. Going back to the student who asked me to help him, he said he's struggling with listening and he practices a lot of TOEFL questions. I'm like, don't just practice TOEFL questions, practice other things as well. Listen to TED Talks, listen to podcasts, listen to interviews with people, watch the news, short bursts of information, right? In the news, go to CNN, go to BBC, whatever you're preparing for. BBC for IELTS, the accent will be easier, CNN for TOEFL. And then take notes. Okay, so this happened in the news, the criminal, the person, the politician said this, they were talking about that. Take notes, and then at the end of that segment, podcast, episode, video, talk, whatever you did, look at your notes and then summarize what you've just heard into written form. Write it down, write down everything you've heard in a short summary. And also while you're doing this, paraphrase the summary. Don't use exact words unless you quote them. Also, do the same thing, but instead of writing a summary, summarize it with words. Give yourself 1 minute to relay the information that you've just heard. Look at your notes and then speak about what you've just heard for 1 minute. You can do the same with reading. You can read something and then summarize it into a paragraph, read something and then summarize it in your own words and say it out loud. Out loud. Don't mumble, don't go. No, out loud. Find a quiet place, tell people not to disturb you, turn off your phone, set time aside for this. It's going to take some time, but these tests take time. English takes time. Anything we want to be good at takes time. When you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes, in IELTS Part 2, you have to speak for 1 to 2 minutes. In TOEFL, you have 4 questions where you have to speak for 45 to 60 seconds. And you really do need to be careful, because a lot of people, they start speaking, but they lose track. They lose focus, like I do sometimes with these videos. This one is going to be like 5 hours long and I have to cut it into 4 minutes. Focus and time yourself. Do not stop unless that 1 minute is over. Do not stop unless those 2 minutes are over. I suggest 1 minute. 1 minute is good, because in IELTS you have to speak for longer than a minute. But if you can do it for 1 minute, in the test you will see it's easy to add bits of information to extend your answer. In TOEFL, it's 45 seconds to 1 minute. Keep it at 1 minute when you practice this. Keep it at 1 minute and practice over and over and over again. This is going to be so valuable, and you're going to get so much more confidence. You're going to build your confidence. You're going to realize, I'm not that bad. I can do this. I know what's going on. I can summarize this. And the more confidence you get, the better your English gets, the better your listening gets, the better your reading gets, and everything just gets better. By doing these 2 exercises, you can improve not only your listening and your reading, but also your writing, your confidence, your vocabulary, your overall English ability. So it's very, very valuable. It will take time, but everything in life takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Next tip for TOEFL and IELTS, synonyms. Because sometimes answers will require you to understand synonyms of certain words. And if you don't understand those words, you won't be able to answer the question. When you do speaking and writing, you can use synonyms to change your sentences. When you have to do integrated writing, you can use synonyms when you paraphrase. Right? Because paraphrasing is really important. You cannot just copy what you've read or what you've heard. You need to paraphrase. Paraphrase means put it into your own words. So when you paraphrase, use synonyms. Synonyms, so valuable. Next one, idioms. Learn idioms, but don't learn the cliche ones like don't judge a book by its cover or the grass is always greener on the other side. These are, they're useful, and it's good to know them. It's good to know what they mean, but don't overuse them, because they're overused. They've become cliches. So use different idioms, use different sayings, different phrases, different idioms, and practice using them in your speech and in your writing. You don't have to go to a bookstore and buy a book on idioms. No. Find a few idioms that you can easily integrate into many different things and practice them, study them. The same with synonyms, right? You don't have to study 1,000 words. I see all these books in bookstores with 5,000 words you need to know for the TOEFL or for the IELTS or for the TOEIC. You don't need 5,000 words. If you could learn 5,000 words, that would be amazing. But if you could learn 100 and use them effectively, use them efficiently, use them without thinking too much, and just effortlessly, naturally integrate them into your speech, into your writing, you will do so much better. Next one, paraphrasing. Learn to paraphrase. Learn to say things in your own words. For example, let's go back to in the beginning where I said go to podcasts and CNN and TED Talk. So listen to these things and try to summarize it in your own words, right? That's very important, summarizing in your own words so you don't copy what other people are saying. Another valuable tip for speaking practice is, and I've said this in a previous video, but record yourself while you're speaking. Find questions online for whatever test it is you are studying, and then ask the questions out loud to yourself, answer them out loud, and record yourself. Record your answers, and then go back and write down your answers. Write down your answers word for word, syllable for syllable. If you say, like, so, write them down, and it will help you identify words and fillers and things that you overuse. And it's never a good thing to hesitate too much. For example, in the IELTS speaking test, if your hesitations are language related, you will lose points. Don't hesitate. Don't use like. I've seen students get a 9 for IELTS speaking, and they do say the occasional or but it would not be language related. It would be topic related, and it would be natural. Because when we all speak, we all say, let me think. That is a natural right? But if I say and that is not natural, that is uncomfortable, and I hear that a lot doing mock tests, and students don't always realize, test takers don't always realize that they do this often. These are the most valuable tips that I can give you. Notes, synonyms, paraphrasing, practice, 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 listen, write, repeat. These are valuable things. Other ways to learn: listen to more podcasts, watch movies, watch more TV shows. But also another thing, if you're a beginner or you're struggling with listening, don't watch a movie that you really want to see for the first time with only English audio, because you're going to miss a lot of the movie and it's going to be a frustrating experience. watch a movie or a TV show that you've seen before. Watch it without subtitles and just pay attention. If you don't get everything, don't worry about it. Just enjoy the film, sit back, relax. This is not homework, this is not an essay, this is not practice, this is just relaxation. But while doing this, by relaxing, you're also learning and you're improving. If at the end of the movie you realize, oh, I understood nothing, then don't beat yourself up, keep on practicing. All these tests, English, it's an ongoing journey and we're all learning. Like while I'm doing synonyms, I'm also learning new words. So keep on learning, keep on practicing, and don't give up. If it's difficult, don't give up and don't say that didn't work. Do it again, do it again, do it again. That's very valuable. Watch more YouTube videos. There are a bunch of YouTube videos where people sit and speak to the camera, like me doing right now. But there are videos not just about English. This is English focused, English based, right? There are videos about crime. There are videos about entitled parents. There are videos about malicious compliance. There are videos about so many different things. There are videos about fails. There are documentaries. There are interviews. There are videos about literally everything you can think of. DIY videos, tutorials. If you're into horror movies, there are a ton of ghost stories online where people narrate ghost stories. So just listen to that and practice, practice, practice. Listen more. You will see it's going to get so much easier. You're going to learn things without knowing that you're learning. Another thing you can do is read more. Read more books, read more magazines, read more articles, read the newspaper. Read something that's interesting to you. By doing that, you will learn valuable vocabulary words, you will see new phrases, you will learn how people paraphrase each other, how people say things, correct grammar, tenses. You will learn so many things by reading. That's also the secret to being a writer, right? Is reading. And technically, if you want to do these tests, you have to become a writer for an hour per test. So if you want to become a good writer, you have to become a good reader. And I'm not talking academic reading, I'm talking fun reading. I'm talking reading, just reading for fun. Another thing, if you have a friend who's studying for a test, that's very good to practice, is speak for 1 minute, speak to a friend. And then let the friend ask you follow-up questions, and then you answer the questions. And then you do the same with your friend, like vice versa. So it will teach you not only to speak for a minute, it will teach you to listen carefully and think about what that person is saying so that you can ask follow-up questions. So these are my tips for today. I have a bunch more tips. I just can't remember them all. These are the ones I wrote down. These are the ones I did today. These are the ones I feel are the most valuable. So please leave a like this video, push the like button, and subscribe. And I will see you again very soon for another video. Best of luck with your test practice and best of luck with your English. Don't lose hope, keep going, keep practicing, and you will see, you will get there before you know it. And then you'll be like, I'm actually okay. Little heart, little friends, I hope you have a great day and see you soon. Mwah.